Well, I'm here on Times Square in the heart of New York City for NTD's 5th International Chinese Culinary Competition. The staff on site here have been working through the night to turn Times Square into Chang'an, the capital of China's ancient Tang Dynasty. A few moments ago, I spoke with Qian Wang, one of the main hosts of the competition, about what's going to be happening in these 2 days.
We have over 30 chefs from around 8 countries convening in Times Square. It's going to be spectacular. They're going to be competing in one of 5 cuisines, either Sichuan, Shandong, Cantonese, Huaiyang, or Northeastern cuisine. And $10,000 the gold medal is up for grabs. The mission of NTD's International Chinese Culinary Competition is to revive the 5,000 years of Chinese culinary philosophies, techniques, and also to bring to the international public authentic Chinese food. So it's quite meaningful. What we say, reviving 5,000 years of history in a single bite. This has such a deep meaning for me because traditional Chinese food, a lot of it has been lost. If you go to the average corner store, average corner Chinese restaurant, it's become fast food, right? And it's not the authentic stuff that we grew up eating. So by having this competition, by bringing the best chefs from around the world, we can open it up to the public. We can get people to really think about reviving these long-lost traditions and to raise the standard of all Chinese restaurants.
Well, they're now about to sound the gong for the action to start.
And they're off!
On the sidelines of the competition, I bump into an old friend.
Well, I'm here with Greg Grossman. How you doing, Greg?
Not bad, Ben. Good to see you.
Now, Greg, he was a bit of a child prodigy, and now he's consulting for several restaurants in New York. He's an excellent chef. I had the opportunity to try his Kung Pao chicken last year. That really was one of the best Kung Pao chicken I've ever tasted.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it.
What are you going to be doing here today at the competition, Greg?
Well, after competing last year in the Kung Pao Chicken Challenge, this year we're actually back, and I'm going to be reporting on camera like you did last year, actually. Basically explaining what's going on with all of the amazing chefs that are actually cooking in the competition, explaining what they're doing in live time, as well as tasting their dishes.
And what are you most looking forward to about this year's competition?
I mean, it's been the kosher part of the challenge so far has been very interesting. Really looking forward to seeing the rest of the chefs who came over from China and all over the world coming in and see what sort of interesting dishes that they put out.
And passers-by are also captivated by the action.
Well, I'm here with Jason. He's a native New Yorker from right here in Manhattan. How you doing, Jason?
Doing fine.
What's your favorite Chinese dish?
My favorite one was Peking duck.
That's also a favorite of mine as well. Were you surprised to find a Chinese cooking competition right here in the heart of New York?
I was. I ride through here every day going back and forth from work. So, yeah, it's usually my route, but I think this is a lot better.
And this competition, is about sharing Asian culture with the West and reviving Chinese traditions. What do you think about that idea?
I think it's great. I took a trip over to Beijing and was really impressed how everything is. It's not a lot of sesame chicken out there. It's a lot of good stuff. So, I think more of that is definitely encouraged.
That's awesome. What's your favorite Chinese dish?
Well, it varies. There's quite a few. Chicken chow mein, sweet and sour pork, what the people are conjuring up.
Now, NTD's International Chinese Culinary Competition this year falls just before the weekend of the Mid-Autumn Festival, or 中秋节 in Chinese. Let's now take a look at the story behind this tradition.
Mid-Autumn Festival, or 中秋节 in Chinese, is a traditional Chinese harvest celebration. Also known as the Moon Festival or Moon Cake Festival, it is held on the 15th day of the 8th month in the lunar calendar. According to historical texts, the festival dates back to the Western Zhou dynasty about 3,000 years ago. The festival was popularized in early Tang dynasty and became an established tradition in the Song dynasty. The festival is a time for family reunions, to gather outdoors to gaze at the autumn moon and eat moon cakes. One popular legend about its origin is the story of the Lady on the Moon, Chang'e. She was the wife of Hao Yi, who used his bow and arrows to shoot down 9 of the 10 suns in the sky and saved the people on earth from the scorching heat. The Queen of Heaven rewarded Hao Yi with an elixir that could make him an immortal, but Chang'e drank it instead and floated to the moon with her pet rabbit. Another story relates to the eating of moon cakes. It commemorates how the Han army overthrew the Mongols at the end of the Yuan dynasty to establish the Ming dynasty. The story has it that the Han people mobilized an uprising by hiding messages in the moon cakes. This year, the Mid-Autumn Festival falls on Sunday, September 30th.
As the day's competition winds down, it's time for 5 celebrity chefs to compete at cooking one of China's most famous dishes, Kung Pao chicken.
This is the Fire Up the Wok Challenge, featuring an all-star cast of celebrity chefs. It is part of NTD's benefit gala on the first evening of the competition. Much of the proceeds of this gala go to the James Beard Culinary Scholarship for the Underprivileged. And the winner of the Fire Up the Wok Challenge, French chef Antoine Camin. But how did he do it?
I follow exactly what the recipe did. So, and then I use my talent.
And there's one more ingredient.
You have to cook with your heart.
Camin's technique of cooking with his heart certainly won the approval of celebrity judge David Burke.
Balance. It's like a kiss. You know, when you kiss somebody right, I mean, it's you're on or you're off. I mean, it's when I tasted it, it was funny about his dish was the chicken was so light and airy like a sweetbread. So he was on point with he didn't overcook. Like he hit it. He hit it. And you know, it's just one of those. It's one of those things. You know when it's right.
Burke says the diversity of the chefs made for an interesting competition.
They all did a great job, and it's interesting to see how the ethnic background of what they cooked, like the French man who won, versus Spanish or Indian. Really, really cool.
The overall winner of NTD's 5th International Chinese Culinary Competition will be picked on Friday, September 28th.
Well, we'll have to leave you in anticipation of the epic conclusion of NTD's 5th International Chinese Culinary Competition on our show next week. Don't forget, in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube. I'm Ben Hedges, and you've been watching Discovering China.